Oh, I should have unmuted yet. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Open Matt Show. I'm your host, Matt. And finally, we made it to fight week. I don't know about you guys, but I have been absolutely fiending for some fights. I mean, we were tuning into RAF. I saw people were really tweeting out breakdowns on the Octagon cards, not to really shit on it too much, but yeah, when you have several Octagon card breakdowns on your feed on Twitter, that's how you know we're really in an MMA drought. But alas, it's finally over. We got some good content uh, on our feeds now, and yeah, we finally get to talk about some predictions and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on this episode. We are going to be talking about my UFC 324 predictions. We're going to be going over the entire card from the early prelims all the way to the main event. Of course, that is Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. On the back end, we're probably going to talk about, I don't know, maybe some news that came out specifically about Zuffa Boxing. That is this Friday, which is a little crazy. I feel like they kind of had a sudden / abrupt arrival last Friday. But like I said, we'll get to that at the end of the program. We're going to start by talking about UFC 324. As always, remember, this is a call-in show technically. So click that link in the description below to join the Discord at any point during the show. If you really disagree with my takes or anything like that, my picks specifically, go ahead and call in and we could debate about it for a little bit. But yeah. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this card for a while. I would be lying if I said it. I thought it was boring. A lot of people said they thought it was boring in the past. Um, I disagree with that. I think it's a pretty solid card. Sorry about that, guys. I'm getting something ready really quick. What the fuck? How did I lose a subscriber? I lost a subscriber since I started. What the hell? That's all right, guys. We keep going. We keep going. Um, let me see here. How do I check what's uh all right. Anyways, yeah, let me just go ahead and ignore that. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and talk about my picks. Like I said, as always, you could call in, comment down below, chat, whatever. If you disagree with them. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the early prelims. There you go, nice. My stream deck is working. We're gonna go ahead and start with the early prelims. I'm very excited about this one. Or no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I was kind of talking out of my ass there. I'm not excited about Ty Miller versus Adam Fuggett. I'm talking about the card in general. Anyways, as you can see, we're going to be using the the official UFC website as well as UFC stats. I don't really like Tapology, and honestly, the whole Michael Morales thing really vindicated me in that choice. So I'm happy with that. Uh, yeah, I don't like Tapology. Anyways, so we're gonna start with Adam Fuggett versus Ty Miller. Ty Miller, this is his UFC debut. He's coming off a Contender Series, and Adam Fuggett, he's just a veteran journeyman. I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. Obviously, I feel like this is a layup, quote unquote, for Ty Miller. Fuggett has lost his last few, and yeah, like I said, this is Ty Miller's debut. Ty Miller is a pressure heavy fighter, I would say, volume striker. He doesn't necessarily have the power that to where Fugit should be worried. So I normally I would just say it's a decision, but with the way Fugit fights, he's a very kind of a standard UFC striker. Like he doesn't really move. He kind of walks into stuff, stays right in front of you. I think it'll just be a very good debut show out match for Ty Miller. I think he's just gonna kind of batter Fugit. Um, yeah, I mean, if Miller really struggles early on, then maybe Fugit could take advantage. But Miller's a younger guy. He's more. Does it say their age here? No, it doesn't. Of course not. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I really don't have a lot to say. Fugit and a lot of who was his last fight? I don't remember. Um, I know he got knocked. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, Dillatov. Yeah, he got knocked out. He walked right into that. I remember. Um, yeah, unless yeah, Miller might get a finish here. I don't think he will. Personally, like I said, he doesn't seem to have the power. He's more of a volume striker, but Fugit really just walks into stuff. So we might see a finish, but if I had to bet, I would choose Ty Miller via unanimous decision, maybe split, because Fugit does have the experience. But I think Miller is coming in with the youth, the quite frankly the better skill and the momentum. I gotta give it to Ty Miller via unanimous decision. All right, now we're on to Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman. This is kind of an interesting matchup. I didn't realize that Smotherman has kind of been on the streak he's been on, the L streak he's been on. I thought he was a lot better off here. Or I see, this is why I like UFC stats. Um, I thought it was on like a solid win streak. I don't remember I don't remember him losing to Serhi Sadi. I don't know. Is this guy still even in the UFC? I mean, maybe not. We haven't seen him fight in the UFC for almost a year. Um, but yeah, I thought he was gonna kind of be the next big thing, which I don't really know where I got this from because I do remember his win over Jake Hadley, and I thought he looked pretty good. Um, but yeah, he clearly went on a skid here. That being said, I do think he's better than Ricky Tercios. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm a big fan of Ricky Tercios. I like that season of The Ultimate Fighter. Um, he has heart, he has grit, he has the dog in him. He's willing. You got to put him out to get him out of there. Um, it's just he doesn't really have the skill. He kind of sucks for a lack of a better term. He's not going to set up a nice overhand. He's not going to jab, calf kick, teep kick. He's not going to do all that. He's just going to kind of throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. And I think Smotherman is better than that. I really do. Um, yeah, I kind of forgot what Tercius looks like. Anyways, yeah, I think this is kind of a bounce back fight for Smotherman. This is going to be the real. All right, do you actually have it or not? What were those last two fights flukes? Um, I think Smotherman has a power advantage as well. I think he's a better grappler as well. I just think he's better than Tercios. He probably doesn't have the heart or grit um, that Tercios does. So if Smotherman can't do a lot of damage or finish Tercios early on in the fight, Tercios can maybe quote unquote drag him into deep waters in the third round. But I really don't see that. Tercios just gets hit a lot. And Smotherman's good at hitting. So I got Cameron Smotherman via, I'm going to say TKO in the second round. If not a unanimous decision. Tercios does have the reach, but like I said, he's really not that good. So that's not really going to be relevant to him this fight. Man, we're kind of flying through these. All right, this one I have a little bit to say on. We got a heavyweight bout: Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Um, there's a lot of memes on this. That Denzel Freeman is like seems like the name is like a stereotypical freedom fighter name. I'll just leave it at that. Um, they're both coming off of wins, but we watched Denzel Freeman fight. I feel like he kind of fucking sucks. Yes, he's a striker, and he does have power. He does have a lot of power. Seemingly, a lot of his fights are dependent on him using that power. So who knows? We might see Hokett get a bomb land on him and see him get finished. But whether you like him or not, Hokett is a solid prospect for heavyweight MMA right now. Yeah, he's an NFL reject, but quite frankly, that puts him above a lot of the blobs that are in there in the heavyweight division. So I see Hokett wrestle fucking the shit out of Denzel Freeman. Hokett's not bad though. Hokett has power as well in his hands. So for me to say that he would wrestle fuck is kind of crazy. But I mean, just he goes for takedowns, right? He actually goes for takedowns. Denzel Freeman doesn't have that skill at all. He's gonna go for the knockout shot, and if he doesn't get it, Josh Hogan is gonna wrestle fuck the shit out of him. Maybe submit him, TKO him. I don't know. But these odds, those are good odds. I I got Josh Hogan via TKO in the second round. I'll say I do actually think he's gonna finish Freeman. Aside from like a fluke KO on Freeman's side. So yeah, I mean, again, they don't want to get Josh Hogan out of here now. They want to get him through this fight with they want to get him through this fight with little to no damage and to turn him around and put him on the prelims of a White House card or something like that. Because we're getting closer to that and slim pickings, but I digress. We're on to our next fight of the night. We got Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. This one's pretty interesting. Weirdly enough, I feel like both of these guys are have similar skill. That's not really fair to say. In terms of their striking, I think they're pretty similar. Yeah, if you look at it here, I would put their striking levels the same. Although I will say I think Hernandez has the better power. He has a solid right cross, a right hand. He sets that up very well, jab right. And Michael Johnson can be chinny at times, as we know. He can be pretty chinny. So Hernandez has been kind of on a streak as well. Here, if I go in over here on UFC stats, I could look at it. Um, yeah, Hernandez has been on a solid streak. Beating Diego Ferreira, I remember that was a solid performance by him. His Kurt Hollowball performance was it wasn't the best. Right. Hernandez did get knocked out by Cowboy Cerrone back in the day, 2019, 7 years ago now, which is fucking crazy. Um, that's kind of how I know Alexander Hernandez. I feel like that's how most people know him. Um, but I do remember him beating Chase Hooper and Diego Ferreira, and those weren't bad performances. It's just that Alexander Hernandez does he's elite, I would say, but he does leave a lot to be desired. Um, that's I feel like that's where a guy like Michael Johnson could kind of step in, use his veteran skill and kind of create crazy situations, maybe catch Hernandez on the way in or something like that. But the truth is, I think Hernandez is a slightly better striker, and like I said, I think he has more power. And Michael Johnson isn't necessarily known for his chin. So ultimately, I do think Alexander Hernandez is going to win. Although this is kind of a close one, somewhat of a toss up, because it does depend on which Michael Johnson shows up. If we get Prime Johnson, he could take down this up and comer or whatever, like he does normally. However, Alexander Hernandez is not an up and comer, like I just showed over here. He's been in this game for a long time, so that kind of excludes him from Michael Johnson's powers there. So, considering all that, I do think Alexander Hernandez is going to win via KO in the second round. I'll say. I think he's just going to end up timing something nice with Michael Johnson. Um, you know, it it just is what it is, right? Uh, I mean, look at that, 25-19. That's kind of fucking crazy. Um, he could win this easily. He could submit. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he even would submit Hernandez. Hernandez could really wrestle fuck Michael Johnson here, but I don't see that happening. Michael Johnson is pretty good still. It just depends which version of him shows up. Regardless, though, I still think Alexander Hernandez is gonna land that right cross specifically, and that'll put some pain onto Michael Johnson. Um, so yeah, like I said, Alexander Hernandez via KO, TKO in the second round. All right. This might have got moved to the prelims, I thought. Whatever. Yeah, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. This one's pretty interesting. I feel like it's clear for Charles Johnson, but I feel like this is the kind of fight he loses. Charles Johnson, he is the prospect crusher, the rookie crusher, like Tonpa. Uh, that's a crazy reference if you know ball. Yeah, yeah, my anime fans, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own fucking joke. Um, what's it called? I completely lost myself. Yeah, I want to look at what Alex Pereira's record was. Perez. Yeah, okay. See, I remember the Tyro loss. I don't remember him fighting Almabayev. What card was this? Saruki and Hooker? That was recent. But he lost. So, oh, he got finished. He got submitted. I do remember him getting knocked out by Tyra. I'm going to be honest, guys. If Tyra knocked him out, I think Charles Johnson is going to knock him out. I'm not trying to shit on Tyra at all, but Johnson is just longer, stronger, I would maybe say, just has more power. And he's good at catching guys at the end of his shots. He's really good at utilizing his reach and length on these guys in this division. So unless Perez has really been juicing his shit since November, I do not see him beating Charles Johnson. I think Charles Johnson is going to style on him. I see Charles Johnson winning via finish. Yeah, he could easily pop out a submission here, a guillotine or something. But if I had to imagine he's going to try to make it entertaining and go for finish on the feet, I got Charles Johnson via TKO in the third round. I don't think Perez is going to hold up past the second. The first round will be probably close somewhat, but once we hit the second round, we'll really see the damage Johnson was doing stack up on Perez. So, yeah, those are my picks for the early prelims. We'll just go over it really quick. I got Ty Miller, the unanimous decision. Jesus Christ, I'm tweaking. The unanimous decision, like I said, Fugget just kind of walks into shit. Ty Miller doesn't really have the power, so I don't think he'll get the finish, but Fugget does walk into stuff, so he might. And yeah, it's his debut. Fugget could derail it, but I don't think they would. The matchmakers know what they're doing. I don't think they would set up a Dana White's Contender Series guy like this. They need to get these old guys out and get these new journeymen in if they want this Paramount deal to succeed. So a lot of that is dependent on these matchups going for the Contender Series guy. So I got Ty Miller there. I got Cameron Smotherman versus Ricky Tercios. I really like Tercios. I think he's cool. I liked the Ultimate Fighter, but he's kind of ass. Smotherman isn't that good either, but his potential is a lot like higher than Tercios. So aside from a dogfight, I see Smotherman winning this one pretty easily. Josh Hockett, I think Josh Hockett is just going to wrestle fuck Denzel Freeman, probably ground and pound TKO him or submit him in the first or second round. Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. I got Hernandez. I just think the wrong Michael Johnson is going to show up, and I think Hernandez is actually going to catch him with a clean right. Johnson does get caught, so I got Hernandez there. Probably in the second or third round, honestly. And then I got Perez, Charles Johnson. I think Charles Johnson is going to knock him out in the third round again. I don't think Perez will be able to hold up past the second. I could say past the first, but I think he'll be all right for most of the second. I think in the third round, Perez will be cooked, for lack of a better term. Yeah, those are my early prelims picks. Let's go ahead and move on to the prelims. Dang, I've only been live for 16 fucking minutes. That's a little crazy. I'm kind of talking through these quick, guys. I don't really have any other topics. Like I said, I do want to talk about Zuffa. That's pretty interesting to me. But shoot. Sorry. I do want to talk about Zuffa. That's pretty interesting to me. But we will get to that. Whoa. Shoot. Technical difficulties. That's all right. We're on to the prelims now. We got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. This is actually crap. I was really kind of looking into this. This is a relatively close fight. I know Bukauskas is the favorite, which he should be, right? He's coming off of a win. Krylov's coming off of a loss. He's kind of the guy on the way out, I guess, if you could really say that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, Krylov could turn that into like a dogfight, a longer term affair. I just really don't see him getting past the aggressiveness and physicality of Bukauskas. I think Bukauskas is going to really I think he's going to go out there and maul him, really give him punches and bunches, powerful punches and bunches. So look at his last couple fights. Yeah, that Paul Craig fight was nasty. That was a nasty finish. We look at these striking numbers. They're nothing crazy, but if we compare these to Krylov, yeah. I mean, just look at these striking numbers from Krylov, man. They're not that good. He did have the submission over Ryan Spann in fucking 2023. Yeah, the first Peter Yan versus Merab fight. That's when he had that submission. Krylov could have a bounce back fight. He could catch a submission or something, but I mean, I feel like this is one of the situations where the stats kind of tell the story itself. Bukauskas is probably gonna beat the shit out of Krylov. I mean, if you really just look at the way they're built as well, um, yeah, it's not gonna go well for Krylov. I think Bukauskas, like I said, is just gonna go out there with no respect early on. Maybe he's gonna feel out how much power Krylov has at first, and once he feels that, I think he's gonna do what he does. Yeah, Krylov's obviously gonna want to try to snag a submission or something. I really don't see him standing and banging with Bukauskas. Um, yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else to say about that. I don't think Krylov really has a chance in hell here. That's, I guess, what I'm beating around the bush. I should stop trying to be polite. I don't think he has a chance at all. So uh, I got Bukauskas via TKO in the second round. I think the second round he's really gonna come out and break Krylov down and probably send Krylov into retirement. There's a solid chance Krylov retires after tonight if he loses via finish in a brutal fashion because his last win was in 2023 against Ryan fucking Spann. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. All right, we're on to Atiba Gauthier versus Andre Polayev. Um, what are these stats? They looked a little ridiculous for a second. Yeah, I mean, you know what though? I gotta say I support it as well. Polaev's good. He ain't bad, but I mean, this guy's like fucking Ngannou reincarnated. I mean, he's just knocking motherfuckers out. Uh, yeah, I mean, he's just a physical specimen. And the scary thing about Gautier, I would say, is that he's clearly getting better, more conscious of like what he's doing as he fights. Like with each fight, you just see him have like more control. You just see it, him setting things up more and more and more. Mm. Palaev's gonna be a tough fight. Palaev might come out and be like, "Hey, man, I'm here too. There's more to this game than just fucking power punching and swinging like a bar fight." But he's gonna have to avoid that perfect shot for the entirety of the 15 minutes. I don't see Palaev doing that. Palaev gets hit. Let's see who was Palaev's last fight. Let's take a look. I don't I remember Gautier's. Nick Klein. Oh yeah, right, right. He did win via KO. Who did he lose to? Christian Leroy Duncan. Where's he been? Where's Leroy Duncan? November, right. All right, sorry guys. I'm getting distracted. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, Pulaev, he hasn't really been in the UFC too long. He's only had 2 fights by the looks of it. Who do I think wins? Charles or Holloway? If I had to pick right now, I think Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway. Um, is right now. I think if you get the Charles that was on the title run that he went on, that Charles beats Holloway. But right now, 155 Holloway looked very good. I think um, you could say both guys' chins are gone, and kind of that's the reason why I would pick Holloway because yeah, Oliveira is a way better grappler, but right, all fights start on the feet, right? And Oliveira is more than game to strike, as we saw with Ilya for whatever reason. Maybe there's an argument there that he learned from his mistakes and he won't strike with Holloway like that. But Holloway isn't really known for having the vicious power, despite having the crazy knockout over Gaethje that he does. Holloway isn't known for his one hitter quitter power the way Ilya has it. So Oliveira might get a little cocky there and go for it, but yeah, Oliveira is just way too chinny, and I think Max he's been around the game long enough. He's smart enough to survive on the ground. I don't think he'll get grapple fucked like that. Anyways, back to Pelaya versus Gautier. Yeah, Pelaya's pretty solid actually. He's a good striker. He's pretty slick. I think the first round he might be kind of poking and prodding at Gautier. I just Gautier is gonna land the shot, right? This is how I felt during a lot of Ngannou fights. Same thing with the Gon fight. Like, yeah, this guy's gonna poke and prod at him. He might be better here and there, but Gautier just has an intangible that you can't prepare for. If you can avoid getting hit brutally for 15 minutes, good for you. But you can't practice that unless you're practicing with Gautier specifically. you're not gonna be able to avoid that shot for 15 minutes, in my opinion. I think Pelaev is gonna really have to pull something out of his ass here. He's gonna have to really kick Gautier's ass in that first round and really gain that respect. If he could wobble Gauthier, that'll change everything. Justin to sleep. I agree. I do think Justin goes to sleep. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We just got one more fight to go over on these prelims, and we're on to the main card. But yeah, generally, I do agree that Justin goes to sleep. Generally, I do agree. Um, as for how, that's the question there. That's the question there. We don't know how. But yeah. I mean, a lot of people they're really letting their hate for Patty cloud the reality of the situation here, in my opinion. But yeah, I got Gautier via KO. In the I'll say in the second, I think he's gonna come out, try to show patience, try to show skill. Um, but in the second round, I think he's just gonna say fuck it and corner Pelaev and just spam his windmills and knock him out. Uh, but yeah, now we're on to the main event of the prelims, almost to the main card, almost to the main card. We got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. I, now I gotta say, I think Umar's gonna win, but I might throw like $10 on Figgy. Do I have it over here? No, I put it away. I have a numbered card of his that I got from a Tops blind box or blind pack. That's very cool. That's very cool. I would love to get a signature on it one day. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for Figgy. I really like Figgy. Uh, for whatever reason, if even though he doesn't speak English, a handful of his lines have like locked into my head, and I stim and say them a lot. Like when I was calling Moreno a crybaby, Moreno crybaby. Yeah, that one. I remember he paid like some rapper to make a shitty song for him. Let's get Figgy with it. Um, I don't know. That stuff really rubbed off on me. So I'm a big Figgy fan. So I might throw, 10, 20 on Figgy just out of respect for being possibly the greatest 125 champ of all time. But Umar's gonna win. Umar's gonna win. Figgy isn't Marab, um, and Umar isn't Moreno. Um, Figgy's out of his prime, clearly, way out of his prime. Sean Strickland to sleep too. Fuck him. Yeah, maybe. Sean's. I don't know. I don't really. He doesn't get me mad at all. Just because I don't know. He's Sean fucking Strickland. You know what I mean? This is like, I don't know. When I see he said another crazy thing or he posted another crazy meme, it's just it is what it is, right? Like, oh man, what else is new? The sky is blue, right? Um, hey, for you want to get a reaction out of me for what a fighter says, have Volkanovski start reposting fucking dictator translated speeches. I'll just leave it like that. I don't want my stream to get flagged. But you get a Volk or Max Holloway to start doing shit like that. Take the red pill. Maybe then I'll start to go a little crazy. But hopefully we never see it. Hopefully we never see it. Um, anyways, other than like a lucky punch from Figgy here, I don't see him beating Umar. I, Batista is a harder fight for Umar at this stage than Figgy. Oh, no kidding. You met Strickland, really? When I've been up there in Vegas, I've actually thought about like what would happen if I show up or something and like, hey, I want to get a picture. My fear is like they'll straight up beat the hell out of me for content, and oh, I would say yeah because that'd be cool, but oh, Diaz fan 5986. What the fuck? Whoever thinks Gaethje's gonna lose is a casual fan. You bozo podcasters have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Fucking clowns. Bro, what? I'll get to it. I'll stick around and I'll get to it. But yeah, I think right now, I think Umar just wrestle fucks Figgy. I don't think Figgy's gonna be able to do anything. It's gonna be a very boring uh 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Or prelim main events? Or prelim main events, what's it called? Are those 25 minutes? I'm not sure. I'm brain farting right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big Figgy fan. It's just Umar's gonna wrestle fuck the shit out of him. Yeah, Umar is winning by the wrestling game. Um, Strickland's autograph in Vegas in June and a pick. That's pretty cool. I would get a picture with Strickland. See, that's the thing. That's kind of my issue. Is like I don't really I won't ever let my morals kind of or whatever I believe in affect, like, getting a picture with somebody. Like, if I see a cool ass fight, like, maybe like a Greg Hardy, right? Guys that are, like, just hated by like, what's the point of that? But if it's, like, a popular fighter, like a Strickland or somebody like that, even if they said some crazy shit, I would try to get a picture. Um, because when else can you say that, right? Uh, anyways, so now we're finally onto the main event, guys. Finally, we're gonna start with Arnold Allen versus John Silva. I don't know if this was on the prelims first or if this was moved up as well. I don't think so. I think this was the only one, Natalia Silva and Rose, that was moved up from the prelims. Weirdly enough, they should have put Umar and Figgy there, but um, I don't know. Maybe Paramount wanted some inclusivity there. Who fucking knows? But anyways, we got Arnold Allen versus John Silva. Weirdly, I think this is going to be a very good fight. But if I'm being honest, I think I didn't know the. Oh, wait, I was looking at the leg reach. Um, I do think John Silva kind of has it in the bag here. Daddy Lewis, yeah. John Silva did lose to Diego Lopez, yes, but if I'm being real, watching that fight live, I had Silva taking it. I thought Silva was about to knock out Lopez. In my opinion, Silva only lost that fight because he was fucking around. He was just playing around too much, and yeah, he got caught. Uh, Silva has clearly shown he has a very well balanced game, and he is a fucking specimen. His explosiveness is punishing to say the least. And whereas Arnold Allen is kind of like he's a scrapper. He goes in there, he's going to go in there and really scrap with you, and kind of make the striking exchanges messy. I don't know why I keep clicking on this. Um, Not to mention, what is it like a 2 year layoff? I could check over here. I believe he's on a 2 year layoff. It might be a year and a half, like a little under 2 years. Um, he is a heavy hitter. He is a heavy hitter. Yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean, this is what I'm looking at right here. Um, in July, that was his last win, right? A unanimous decision over Giga, and that was a really good win. But it's just he gets hit. That's kind of my concern, and so does John. But I think, yeah, this one's like a hard one for me to justify. Um, because normally, like if you asked me this like a year ago, maybe I would have said Allen for sure. But after watching Lopez pretty much lose himself, or watching Silva lose himself that Lopez fight, that really, like, opened my eyes to Silva. Like, truly, his athleticism is another level. Watching him go against Lopez like that made me realize he could beat Volk, he could beat, Holloway even, maybe even an Ilya. I'm not saying he would, but he has that physicality and athleticism to do it, and we haven't seen that in a lot of guys. Um, my issue with Allen is, like, he's too willing to scrap. He is and that kinda is like a nod to that is the fact that he's a heavy hitter and he knows it. Um I think he gets goaded into these exchanges too much, and we really saw that against the Holloway fight, and he paid the price for it. He got dropped. Um, right, I guess it'll come down to who plays more, who's gonna play around more, and I think if Silva is 100% locked in and focused on the bounce back, I just think his physicality, his aggressiveness is gonna be too much for a ring-rusted, Arnold Allen. I really like Arnold Allen, I really do. He actually responded to one of my tweets before, so, of course, I'm a big fan of him, but, yeah, I mean, over a year layoff, yeah, that's 2024, right, this is 2026 now. A year and a half layoff, that is very, very rough. So, yeah, yeah, I mean, what was it, shoulder surgery that he had? Or something like that, but it's just not good to be coming off of an injury like that against a guy like John Silva with his physicality. Um, I do think this fight will absolutely deliver. I actually don't see Arnold Allen getting finished here. I just think, I just think he won't be able to keep up physically. I think by the time we get to this end of the second round, the pace will be in Silva's favor. He'll just be moving at a speed and pace, yeah, that Allen won't be able to keep up with because of how long it's been. Um, Allen will tough it out. I really don't think he's gonna get finished. I think Allen will tough it out, but it's gonna be brutal. I think these odds are somewhat valid. But who knows? Maybe Allen has been absolutely locked in, dialed in. I know in interviews he said he's really been working out, but yeah, I mean, just with how Silva is just so punishing with how hard he hits. And like I said, like the way he was playing with Lopez, it just made me think like if this guy sits there and like picks and chooses his shots properly, he does some nasty damage. Round two Silva knockout for sure. I mean, I don't I believe in Allen's chin and durability. I don't think he'll get finished, but I would not be surprised in any way if John Silva were to knock out Arnold Allen, or at least TKO, at least TKO. Yeah, yeah, if Allen is disciplined, you're right, but, um, it's just been so long and, like, we don't know how he'll react, in there against a guy as, like, explosive and aggressive as John Silva, because John Silva is somewhat unorthodox as well. But who knows? Who knows? John Silva might fuck around and get caught by Arnold Allen, because you are right, Arnold Allen does have the power, it's just, I guess a recency bias, I have Silva in my mind, and I don't even really remember the Chikadze fight fully, for Arnold Allen. It's just been so fucking long. So, regardless, I'm very excited to see this one. I'm excited to see how both guys bounce back from their setbacks. And yeah, I got John Silva pulling out just because, I mean, his physicality. He full camp, no ring rust. That would be a tough fight for Arnold Allen, but ring rust included, I can't not go with John Silva. Next fight, we got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Um, I don't care too much about this fight, if I'm being honest. I think Rose is kind of washed up now. In her last couple fights, she's lost to the elite, Fiorot, Blanchfield, whereas Silva, I think, has beaten everybody she's fought lately. I could check on here. I would be lying if I remembered who she fought last. Grosso, yes, I do remember that actually. Yeah, that was a little bit ago, but I don't think that'll really matter here. When was Rose's last fight? Also a little bit ago. Uh, yeah, I mean, she went blow for blow with Miranda Maverick. That is something I've noticed at this weight class. Rose is a lot more of a control wrestler, which is interesting. But I think Silva is just going to be a little bit too strong. Her striking is going to be a little bit too crisp, I would say, especially if she boxed with Alexa Grasso and outstruck her. Yeah, Rose is a little bit more slick, but I mean, like I said, we could go back to it realistically. When was the last time she, got the knockout? Zhang Weili. I mean, that was a while ago. It's probably going to be a boring fight. I just imagine Natalia Silva grinding out Rose Namajunas. I saw Rose at an interview and she mentioned that the UFC told her that she'll be getting a title shot if she wins. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I guess there's nobody really else in the division that's worthy as like a co-main or main event or whatever. But yeah, I don't really see her getting past Silva. Silva kind of has a momentum, and it's just her. It's not really Rose's time anymore. So I got Silva via unanimous decision. If Rose wins, it's via WrestleFuck. It's via WrestleFuck. All right, here we go. These three, this is the big three of the card. I would say these three fights are very, very good. I'm very excited for these. We got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. This one, I'm like, this one's a big toss up for me. I really, I don't know. I really don't know for this one. Um, I think it's gonna end in the first round. I do 100% believe it's gonna end in the first round. In fact, it might even be a solid bet to put money on it going past the first round, like $5, because who knows what plus those odds are. Anyways, I mean, you guys don't really need me to break this down. We just got two heavyweights that are known for getting in crazy fucking firefights that are both dependent on hitting that big shot. Cortez Acosta is definitely more skilled as a striker. I would say he's better at hitting and not getting hit, weaving out. But Lewis, I would say Lewis has the power advantage. He has the fucking bombs. I could see a world where Lewis sparks out Waldo Cortez Acosta. I could see that happening. But I don't see a world where Cortez Acosta can do that to Derek Lewis, if that makes sense. I can see him TKOing Derek Lewis, kind of similar to how Tai Tuivasa did. But I don't think Cortez Acosta really has that one punch, one hitter quitter power. Um, so with that being said, I'm kind I'm kind of leaning Derek Lewis because I think Lewis just pulls so many dirty fucking tricks. I mean, a lot of people don't like to call it out because, yeah, Lewis is cool and all that. His balls are hot, whatever. Uh, but, Lewis likes to do the fake and your fake hurt and then swing and all that. And I'm a big fan of that. I love that he literally pulls out the same old hits every single fucking fight. He does the same shit. And it works for him. I actually think it's gonna work here against Acosta. I think Lewis is gonna be swinging. He's gonna miss the first couple from Acosta. Acosta's gonna maybe do a couple kicks even. Um, but Acosta's gonna land something nice in a nice little combo. And Lewis is gonna look tired. He's gonna bend over. Acosta's gonna rush in, and I think Lewis is gonna catch him. Uh, Like I said, I think this is all gonna happen in like the first 2 minutes of the first round. If it doesn't go down like that, it'll go down very similarly. It's just that Lewis won't be faking it. He'll actually be hurt when Acosta hurts him or lands the nice 1-2. Um, yeah, I am gonna have to go with Derek Lewis. This one is a true toss up for me. This one is a real coin flip for me. I am gonna have to go with Derek Lewis, a tried and true. He's faced guys like this with big guys with the power that should be the next Lewis, the next guy to knock him out. He's been in this scenario before. He knows how to deal with it. Cortez Acosta, we've seen him lose to greater power strikers as well. Not saying Pavlovich is Lewis level or Lewis is Pavlovich level rather in terms of striking, but in terms of power, I would put Lewis above that, well above that. So I got Derek Lewis via KO in the first round. I just think he's going to catch Cortez Acosta. Um, Acosta's going to get a little too confident in his defense there. He's going to make Lewis miss big early on and get a little too cocky and get caught with something. But I wouldn't be mad either way. To be honest, guys. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. All right, we're on to the main event. Unfortunately, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes cannot be on this card. I was actually looking forward to that. I had Kayla via submission in the third round, actually. Beyond that, Amanda would beat the shit out of her, in my opinion. But anyways, that fight is on this card. So let's go ahead and talk about Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. We're going to talk about Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Yeah, so this one I kind of got a lot of shit for it on Reddit for talking about this one. I said if O'Malley's going to win, he's going to win via knockout. I'll admit that's kind of a bad take. I'll fully admit it. Uh, yeah, I don't really know what I was saying there. Yadong's legit and all that. They're both good strikers. And O'Malley, he's not a one. He does have that power, but he's not a one trick pony. He's believe it or not, one of the best strikers in the UFC, in my opinion. His reactiveness and the skill, the weapons that he has are very good. That being said, Song Yadong is also a very good striker as well. But the thing is here, he's just smaller. He's just a smaller striker. Hell, he was even kind of taking some good shots from Henry Cejudo there. And Henry Cejudo, he's a good boxer and everything like that. Yeah. But he's significantly smaller than Song. He shouldn't have been landing some of the shots he was. And Song shouldn't have had to eye gouge the shit out of Henry Cejudo to get that win. Quite frankly, Song was on his way to a comfortable victory, yes. But like I said, Henry was landing shots off on Song. Excuse me. It was a little jarring to see, actually, and that really stuck with me. And because of that, that kind of really makes me lean towards Sean. I think it'll be a good striking affair in the first round. But once you get past that, yeah, once you get past the first round, I think Sean's really going to start finding his range. I think Song is going to start kind of running into things because Sean, like I said, in my opinion, he truly is one of the greatest strikers in the UFC right now. A lot of people don't like to hear it, but he uses his range very, very well. A lot of tall strikers do not do a good job of doing that. They really don't. And it's frustrating to watch. It's very frustrating to watch. Sean does that very well. And that'll defend Sean from most of Song's attacks, his blitz combo attacks. Just keep your hand out there, keep the jab out there or a teep. That'll do some damage. I think Song's best bet is to make it messy, grapple, hold Sean down, make him tired, kind of ruin Sean's composure, see him panic like how we did see him panic in the Marab fights. I just don't think Song is that guy. I don't think he's that good to really pull that off, to put that pressure on Song without getting fucking chin checked a handful of times. Um, and also, honestly, Sean's height, that's really going to help him out with the dirtiness with Song Yadong, the eye pokes, everything like that. That'll really benefit him there. Song won't be able to get a finger in the eye without serving his chin up for Sean. And if you leave your chin out there, we know Sean O'Malley will snipe it. So I I think Sean O'Malley is still going to win via KO. That was my initial opinion, but he can win by submit or by decision there. He can win by decision there. Um, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people choose Yadong here, which is kind of crazy to me. I know the odds don't necessarily show it, but I'm seeing a lot of other content creators pick Sean O'Malley. I don't know why. I really or pick Song Yadong. I really don't get it. Um, he's everything. Maybe he's a better wrestler. We actually don't know. It's not fair to say we don't know. Sean only got wrestle fucked by Marab, which a lot of people have. Most people have, right? Um, so if Song can't make it messy with the wrestling, I think it's just going to be a matter of time until Sean O'Malley TKOs him. Um, and yeah, like I said, I just think Song's gonna get a little desperate. Sean's gonna keep him at range, and Song's just gonna blitz in for a Hail Mary combo KO, drop him, and he's gonna get caught with something nasty, similar to the All Joe knockout. So I got Sean O'Malley via KO. Um, in the third round. I'll say the third round because I'm assuming this is a 5 rounder now. I got Sean O'Malley via KO in the third round. I don't think Song's going to be able to go beyond that without getting sniped, honestly. But who knows? Who knows? It might turn into a war like Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan. But this is actually, I kind of want to talk about this for a second. This is a very big fight for Sean O'Malley. Huge fight for Sean O'Malley. He There's a very solid chance here he could fight for a belt again. If you asked him if he would ever fight, he seems like a candid guy. If you asked him if he ever thought he would fight for a belt again after he lost to Marab, he would say, fuck no, because nobody's going to beat Marab, and I already lost twice to him. So why would I fight for the belts again? And normally he'd be right, but luckily for him, Peter Yan absolutely clutched. And even luckier for him, he went to war with Peter Yan in a very controversial fight. A lot of people don't think he won that, including Peter Yan, and Yan has been very vocal about wanting to get that one back. So if Sean O'Malley can knock out a Song Yadong here, beautiful highlight reel KO, call your shot against Peter Yan, run it back. You want this fight back. You want that victory back. You don't think you won. Fucking prove it. That could be White House worthy. I know Marab came out and said no Russians on the White House. If you get an American like O'Malley and a Russian like Peter Yan and kind of send the wink wink, the nudge nudges to the locker room saying, hey, make this a striking battle, that's White House worthy right there, in my opinion. So I got Sean O'Malley via KO over Song Yadong. I don't want to see him leapfrog Marab for a title shot. I'm a big fan of Marab. I'm an even bigger fight fan altogether, and I would love to see O'Malley versus Yan too. But anyways, guys, we finally made it to the main event. We finally made it. I had a lot of people talking shit to me in my chat here. I'm not sure how many are still here. DS fan 5986, if you're still here, this is for you. But yeah, this is a pretty controversial fight. Very controversial for a lot of fucking reasons. We could on a lot of different levels. A lot of people think these two shouldn't even be in this fight. These two shouldn't even be the ones fighting for this interim title, or at least one. It shouldn't be both of them. Arman should be in here somewhere. It should be Arman Ilya, but that's impossible. But that's okay. I think Gaethje is washed. You could tell in my title, Justin Gaethje is going to get destroyed. Yada yada. Obviously, it's going to be a solid fight, but I actually see it going very similarly to the Oliveira Gaethje fight. People really are letting their hatred for Patty Pimblett blind everything else. I'm not a Patty Glazer. Yes, he lost to Jared Gordon. I wanted him to lose to the Monkey King Jordan Leavitt just for the memes of that alone. But believe it or not, guys, Patty's fucking solid. And yes, Michael Chandler was washed up, but you don't get past Michael Chandler the way he did unless you're, a solid fighter. You have to be UFC caliber to go against a washed Chandler like that. And it's not even a washed Chandler in the sense of he took so much damage, although that's a part of it. he was washed in the sense it was just ring rust. So that was a relatively, I guess Oliveira knocked that off, but it was an impressive win in my opinion. The way he dispatched of him, he did exactly what he should have done to a washed Chandler, right? Um, yeah, people like to go back and point to the Jared Gordon fight, the Tony Ferguson fight. That's a big one. A lot of people like to go back to as evidence that Pimblett's going to get absolutely chinned by Justin Gaethje. But honestly, guys, we are absolutely overrating Justin Gaethje's power. Let's look at his stats here. I actually didn't notice this until I saw somebody tweet about it. Justin Gaethje hasn't had a high level. You have Dustin Poirier. I think that was a fluke. I think that was a fluke. Poirier, nobody was expecting Gaethje to throw up a fucking head kick in the first like 10 seconds. Nobody was expecting that, right? So I think that's a fluke. But Gaethje hasn't really knocked out any of the elites. When was the last time? Tony Ferguson? Really? Are we really putting are we really putting that much stock in Gaethje's power over that Ferguson fight? Because of that Ferguson fight? Now I'm not saying that he doesn't have power. I'm not saying that. He does. But once he goes against the elites of the elites, he doesn't really have that finishing capability. You could argue, Fiziev, he was very close to finishing Fiziev several times. But again, short notice Fiziev. I think Gaethje would have won that anyways, but short notice Fiziev. And as Patty said, Scousers don't get knocked out. He has a chin on him. He actually has a solid fucking chin on him. And I don't think Gaethje does. Patty is big for the fucking weight class, so naturally he just has a sneaky amount of power. Michael Chandler kind of spoke on that too. He was surprised on how much Patty's shots, like how much he was surprised how much he felt from those shots. Because Patty's big for the weight class, right? We all know the meme Patty the fatty. He gains a lot of weight. And yeah, and yes, his striking is awkward. His chin is in the air. Gaethje is likely to hit his chin maybe once or twice, but there's a solid chance Gaethje misses that. Like I said, very similar to the Oliveira fight. I like to draw comparisons to that because Patty is kind of similarly built and a similar skill set advantage over Gaethje. Um, both Oliveira and Patty leave their heads up in the air, um, and both have all right power in their hands. Obviously, Oliveira has more, but both of them have a crazy grappling advantage. I think if it comes down to it, Gaethje's going to be swinging for the fences, similar to that Oliveira fight. He's going to just kind of bank on, if I land this one shot, I know his chin is there, it's going to hurt him and it's going to put him out. But like the Oliveira fight, it's going to be too telegraphed. He's going to swing. It's going to be too desperate. He's going to miss and he's going to fall over once or twice. He's going to gas himself out pretty early on. I think past that second or third round, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I make this make sense. Gaethje, I don't think Gaethje will have that dog in him that Patty has right now. It's just that simple. I don't see it, and that's because Gaethje said he was halfway out the door. He was about to fucking retire if he didn't get this fight, and that alone is never a good sign. Patty's here to stay. Patty wants to fight Ilya. He wants to fight Arman. He's starting to shit with Dan Hooker. He's here, and yeah, Gaethje did an interview recently. Oh, have a hit list. Well, whatever, bro. You're only saying that because it's close to fight week. We all were there listening to what you were saying. If I don't get this, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna this or that. Was he grinding this whole time? Has he been training this whole time, ready, in shape, or has he been fucking taking fat dabs and hitting the golf course? We don't know. We don't know. Obviously, I'm being a little tongue in cheek there. We know Gaethje's been training and all that. We know he's in good shape, but he's just not going to have the youth and hunger that a Patty will have. Um, I think those first couple of rounds are going to be very telling. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what Gaethje has for us. If it's like a prime Gaethje, that kind of changes this whole conversation. If we get a prime vintage Gaethje similar to how Poirier pulled literally everything out of his ass in that Islam fight, if we see that with Gaethje, Patty could be in trouble. But I just truly think Gaethje, like, he's gonna go for the punch and miss. Gaethje round 2 KO. I maybe, but I just don't see that happening. I will agree if Gaethje is gonna win via KO or something, it's gotta happen in the first 2 rounds. For sure. Because I don't, like I said, I don't think Gaethje has the hunger and has the drive that Patty has right now. literally a month ago, like I said, he was talking about fucking quitting and retiring if he doesn't get this fight. This is never a good sign if you have a foot halfway out the door. Um, and Patty's big for the weight class, and it might be like I said, it might be similar to the Oliveira fight. If Patty just does a quick little like lean back with a big Gaethje overhand, Gaethje might fall over, and Patty might just pounce on that back. Um, will Gaethje follow Patty to the ground if he drops Patty? Does he respect Patty's grappling ability like that? Um, I don't know. It's very interesting. I just think that, yeah, I mean, Gaethje's last fight was almost a year ago. I know Patty's was almost a year ago as well, so that's kind of a moot point. But Patty is just consistently getting better every fight. Like he just comes out looking better and better. And yeah, he's not the most technically sound, but straight up neither is Gaethje, dude. He wings stuff. Yeah, absolutely. He was using the retirement as leverage to land the fight, but like he had to have meant it somewhat, right? Like I feel like the fact that he would even kind of speak that into the existence, put himself into a position where he would be forced to back it up if it didn't go his way. Um, that just, makes me second guess, and especially because this was going on for months. Like we didn't know if he was going to be next, if it was going to be him, Patty, Armand. We really didn't know for a long time, and it's how much did he start to believe himself? How much did he start to believe these negotiations? Did he stay fit? Did he stay ready this whole time? Uh, It's hard to tell. All we know is that until like a month ago, he was talking about possibly retiring. So that's what I mean. Like if we get that prime Gaethje back, like a vintage Gaethje, like he really, this is all or nothing. He can beat a Patty Pimblett. We know that. We know he has the skill to do that. It's just that Patty is he's a weird fight man. He makes everybody. It's almost similar to Ian Gary. Like they don't necessarily look good when you watch them, but it's just they can do that same performance to every single person they fight. They bring that person to their level. And I just kind of see the same goofy shit happening in this fight. I see Gaethje swinging, missing, Patty tripping him, leg kicking him. Honestly, like I really see exchange going very similar to the Oliveira fight. I see Gaethje kind of tired out, backing out of an exchange, and Patty just catching him with a left, just because of how much longer he is, how much of a reach advantage he has. Gaethje falling, Patty pouncing on him and submitting him. Uh, and truly, yeah, I know Gaethje isn't like really known for having cardio issues or anything, but from what Patty was saying, he said Max left a blue plan out. Blueprint out to be Justin Gaethje. And I'm assuming he means the body kicks, spinning back kicks, things like that. I don't think Patty's going to do spinning back kicks, but he's long enough to really pull off nasty teeps. And I think that'll give Justin a lot of problems, especially in the cardio section, and especially if he gives Justin a lot more problems on the feet than what Justin thinks he'll get. Which again, we don't know. I think it's a very interesting fight, but this is a we're gonna find out fight. This is a we're gonna find out fight for Patty Pimblett. We're gonna find out just how good he is because you don't beat Justin Gaethje. If he beats Justin Gaethje and people try to pull, oh, he was washed, that's bullshit. Washed or not, the Justin Gaethje we watched fight Fiziev in his last fight, that was a washed Gaethje. Not a prime Gaethje, but nowhere near a washed Gaethje the way you could say Michael Chandler was in his Pimblett fight. But yeah, I think Gaethje will need to win those first few rounds early because I just don't see him beating Patty in those later rounds. I think Patty's youth and just size is gonna benefit him more. The hunger, the mentality, like truly, I really think that's gonna play a big part here. Normally, I don't like to kind of lean on stuff like that. I think it's a bit corny, but I really do think that's a big part of it. But who knows? Who knows? You're right. Maybe this was all just leverage, and it was grinding this whole time just to kind of catch Ilya or now Patty off guard. But if I had to pick, if I had to pick, I think I have to go with my gut. I have to go with Patty Pimblett via TKO in the third round. I think Gaethje's gonna put Patty through hell those first couple rounds. I really do think that. But if Patty can get Gaethje down, I don't. Gaethje's not getting back up. I truly do believe that. I don't think Gaethje's gonna get back up. Maybe he'll get up for a second, but Patty's gonna get him back down. Um, in the striking department, that's what I'm really interested to see. That's what I mean. I think Gaethje's gonna put Patty through hell in those first couple rounds. But past that, Gaethje's gonna be fading a bit. His speed isn't gonna be there. The shots are gonna be a lot more sloppy. And Patty, yeah, he's gonna be awkward, but he's gonna be consistent. He's gonna have that cardio. He's gonna have that uh, drive to continue on. And yeah, I just see Justin fading and Patty kind of gaining momentum, and eventually all of this resulting in some sort of finish for Patty Pimblett. So I got Patty Pimblett, like I said, via I'm gonna say TKO in the third. I should say submission. I should say submission because I think he would go for the neck instead of punching out Justin Gaethje, similar to how he did uh, Michael Chandler. But I'll go ahead and say TKO. I'll go ahead and say TKO. I don't know, Gaethje or Pimblett might be a little vicious this time around. Who knows? Uh, But yeah, those are my picks, guys. Those are my picks. Let's go ahead and go over all of them again really quick. Um, kind of a short episode today. I just really wanted to go over my picks. I want to talk about Zuffa Boxing a little bit. Um, because that is Friday. I might upload a separate video on that though. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Um, you know what though? Really quick, something I do have to do is run to the restroom. So I will be right back. Ooh, sorry guys, I had to run to the restroom really quick. Anyways, uh, so yeah, let me go over my picks really quick. I finally got them all done. I would like to just go over a quick little quick little preview for you guys for anybody that missed it early on. Um, so I got Ty Miller via unanimous decision. I don't see him getting the finish on Fogit unless Fogit really walks into stuff, which he tends to do. I got Cameron Smotherman via unanimous decision as well. Tercios could outdog him, but Tercios fucking sucks. So I don't see that going well for Tercios. I got Josh Hokett via first or second round ground and pound TKO. He's gonna wrestle fuck Freeman. Excuse me. Wow, that was gross. I got what? Sorry. I got Alexander Hernandez to KO Michael Johnson in the second round. I think this was gonna be pretty close, but Johnson can be pretty chinny, and Alexander actually has a nice right hand that he lands. So I just see that landing flush eventually. And I got Charles Johnson via finish against Alex Perez in round three, maybe. Um, Johnson is just kind of on a tear right now, and he's very good about using his range as well. I feel like catching people on the end of his punches. Perez is going to get caught with something like that. I got Bukowskis to beat Krylov. I think Bukowskis is going to be too much physicality and aggressiveness for Krylov to handle. So I got Bukowskis there. Probably in the second round, I think he'll respect him in the first, but once he hit the second round, he's going to blitz him. Gautier, very similar actually. I think Palaev's very good. Unless Palaev really gets respect to Gautier early, Gautier is going to knock him out. Probably end of first or second round. I got Umar here. I love Figgy, but I think Umar is just going to wrestle fuck him pretty bad. I got John Silva. He's too explosive to come off of a damn near 2-year layoff. Yes, Arnold Allen is good and he's a brawler, and so is John Silva. John Silva is also a brawler and makes silly mistakes, but when in terms of punishing your opponent for those mistakes, I would say Silva has shown he's a lot more damaging in that sense. And Arnold, he's going to be ring rusted. He's going to have a lot of mistakes. Um, Here we go. Yeah. So Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. I think Natalia Silva. I think Namajunas is kind of washed up in her power. It doesn't really transfer over to the weight class she's at now. So I got Silva there. It's her time. Derek Lewis versus Cortez Acosta. I got Derek Lewis. Um, this is really a coin flip toss up for me. but I just think Lewis is that guy. He's been here in this position before where he's supposed to lose to the next knockout artist. Um, I literally think he's gonna do the classic that what he always tries to do. He's gonna bend over, act like he's hurt. Cortez Acosta is gonna rush in, and Lewis is gonna land something nasty. Um, this is gonna be a classic Lewis knockout performance, in my opinion. First round. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I got O'Malley by KO in the third or TKO maybe. It could be decision as well. I don't know. I just don't think he's gonna let Song Yadong get close without beating the shit out of him. Honestly, I don't think Song's gonna be able to do much here other than attempt to make it messy and wrestle fuck Sean O'Malley. Um, but yeah, I got O'Malley there. I want to see O'Malley win. I want to see O'Malley win. Justin Gaethje versus Patty Pimblett. I was just yapping about this. I could yap about it a lot more. Um, I have Patty. I have Patty. I do think he's gonna finish Justin Gaethje in the third or fourth round. Um, I think Gaethje's gonna put him through hell. I think Gaethje's gonna really test him, but I really think it's gonna be similar to that Oliveira fight. Kind of as the fight goes on, Gaethje's gonna fade a little bit. The punches will get a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more telegraphed, whereas Patty's just gonna kind of catch on to it, gain momentum, and really punish Gaethje for any mistakes he makes. And we know Gaethje, he could be a bit hasty and he likes to make a lot of mistakes. Um, but I got Patty via finish. I'll say TKO in the third round. Um, but yeah, guys, those are all my picks. That is everything for UFC 324. Very, very, very exciting card. I am absolutely geeked for it. Like, truly, I've been so fucking bored during this break. I started a show. I brought back my channel because I used to upload pick videos on here, and I stopped doing it because of life. And yeah, now I'm back. Now I'm back. The missing of UFC really inspired me to get some content out there. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I would like to talk about Zuffa Boxing. Hold on, I did have some notes here that I wanted to bring up. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go ahead and look at it. All right, guys, we're looking at Zuffa Boxing's debut card. Suddenly, out of nowhere, last Friday, they dropped a promotional video showing Dana White as a centerpiece. Weirdly enough, what makes sense. And they announced the fights on their card. So let's go ahead and look at it. Can I not look at the card? Preview every fight. Okay, I guess. Yeah, here we go. Here are the fights. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know like 90% of these guys. I just know King Callum Walsh. You call me a boxing casual, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's just the truth. Um, this is whatever. From all the shit that Dana has talked about boxing, this is a very, very underwhelming boxing card. I mean, truly. But if I'm being honest, I didn't expect anything too crazy out the gate. Um, I see what they're doing here. They want to build normalcy, kind of get this backlog of fighters that we recognize on their roster, similar to how the UFC has just a set of guys, and then slowly add on the stars uh, as they can, as we saw with Jai Opataya. That's an interesting situation altogether. I am very excited to see how that plays out because that's definitely their biggest quote unquote poaching, you could say. It is a technical cross promotion against or with Opataya's team, Tasmanian Fighters or whatever. We can't count that as a real cross promotion, guys. I mean, it's not Matchroom, it's not fucking Top Rank, it's Tasmanian Fighter. They don't matter, right? They got one fighter. Opataya was like, you got to collab with these guys. It's no real threat to the UFC. It would be similar to them signing a Masvidal, and even though he has a fight league, a Dan Hooker, he has a fight league, things like that. It really means nothing. Because I saw a lot of people talking about how that implicates that they are going to work with sanctioning bodies and all that, which again, we're receiving a lot of uh, contradicting information in regards to that, which again, I just think we have to see how it plays out this Friday. We'll see. It seems like the Ali Act is about to go through before that Friday. There are changes to it. I would be lying if I fully knew what is being changed. They, yeah, go to Ariel if you want that. I'll just talk about it after Ariel gives me the information. Or Brett Okamoto. I don't fucking know. But, yeah, yeah, this card is just pretty underwhelming. I'm gonna watch it, absolutely. I do like that it's on a Friday. I think it's smart to kinda sandwich that in with UFC. Should put it in there right before. I am gonna be watching because I wanna see the production on this alone. But, the big thing that's interesting, like I said, once they signed Jai Opetaia, I'm kind of all over the place. Once they signed Jai Opetaia, he was formerly a Matchroom fighter. Not his fight before this wasn't a Matchroom fight, but the fight before that was, and he consistently went back to Matchroom. So it makes you wonder, was Eddie aware of this? Did Eddie know he was gonna go there? Is that why he's going full I was gonna use some bad language. That's why he's going full send on Sky Nicholson because he knew he was gonna lose Opetaia. How much are they paying Opetaia? In Opetaia's little, hello message, he said, "Let's go for undisputed." Was that just him saying that because, like, that's what he's been saying his whole life and it just kinda came out naturally on accident? Or, is Opetaia kinda leaking some info that we don't know yet, that they are gonna be working with these other promotions to unify? Um, it's very interesting. On top of that, U6 manager just came out and said that they are also in talks to signing with Zuffa and are somewhat close to making a deal that will change up the game or something like that. That alone is fucking crazy. Yeah, Usyk v Wilder is kind of whatever, but if you give that some proper, I feel like promos, turkey slash UFC marketing combination there, that could be a very very fucking big fight, a very big fight. Hell, at that rate, they can maybe even get a Wilder and Ngannou on the boxing. I don't know. Um, it's a very interesting time for combat sports. Uh, I I wish we had more to talk about with the Zuffa Boxing, but Eddie Hearn hasn't done any interviews. Nobody's really asked him about what he thinks about all this or any of the other boxing promoters for that matter. I know Oscar De La Hoya is getting sued by Virgil Ortiz, which is fucking crazy. Um, it's just it is a very interesting time for boxing. We have all these other promotions that are losing CEOs, Don Davis and PFL. I know that's not boxing, MMA, but losing deals, production broadcast deals, Top Rank, for example, there, and not being re-signed. Um, Yet you still have a new promotion coming into the scene with all these resources, all these connects, already a massive broadcasting deal. It's just very interesting. At this rate, I know it's too early to tell, and I might be biting myself in the ass by saying this, but at this rate, I feel like Zuffa is gonna be the future of boxing. They're not gonna fail. They're just too set up to fail, and, I'm very, very curious to see what they're gonna do with this. I'm gonna be absolutely tuned into this. I'll probably have an instant reaction video to this. Won't be longer than a few minutes because I would like again, I would be lying if I said I was very familiar with all these guys. Um, but I'll be tuning in just to see how, the production is in general. Uh But yeah, like I said, we went over my picks for UFC 324. We talked about Zuffa Boxing a little bit. I'm very excited for that. Very, very excited for that. Um, and yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to go over, honestly. Like I said, guys, it's very exciting that it is UFC Fight Week finally. What the hell? That was weird. It's got a weird my chat just tweaked out for whatever reason. Um, But yeah, that is probably gonna be it for today's episode, guys. Not too long, nice and sweet. Um, Stay tuned. I am gonna be uploading some new videos actually to my channel. I plan on starting a retro review series. I would like to review every UFC card starting from 1 to 324, whatever card we'll be at. I think that'll be pretty fun. I also am going to start talking about Zuffa Boxing, Once Contender Series, and all these other uh, things start. I'll be making videos and all that. So make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. We're a very small channel, goes a long way here. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. As you can see, we got a little giveaway going. Once I hit 100 subs, I'm going to give out $100. That is the easiest $100 you can make. That is a 1% chance you can win $100 just from clicking a button, subscribe. I mean, come on, you would be dumb not to. So please subscribe, like, share with your friends, and comment down below anything you would like me to go over, anything I may have missed. What did you think of my picks? Are they ass? Are they trash? Are they casual? I don't know. Or maybe you guys want to call me fucking fat again, like you used to in the comments. If you go back to my old pick videos, you guys love to call me fat. I know I'm a little chunky in the face, but I am not fat. Mams Taylor, sign me. I will prove I'm not fat. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. That's it for today. See you guys next Wednesday, uh, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking about the results of UFC 324. I am fucking excited. I'm going to upload an instant reaction Sunday morning, probably around midnight or something. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Follow me over on Twitter at follow me over on Twitter at Open Matt Show Live. And yeah, until next week. See you guys.